Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! 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 Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and we've just about passed the halfway point here today as we get ready to discuss the 1984 made-for-TV version of A Christmas Carol, starring George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge, alongside Frank Finley, David Warner, Angela Pleasance, Edward Woodward, Michael Carter, Roger Rees, Joanne Whalley, and Michael Gull. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, we've now passed the halfway point here of our salute to Scrooge, discussing the many retellings of the story A Christmas Carol, and today's is a 1984 made-for-TV version. And of course, our movie opens on Christmas Eve, and Ebenezer Scrooge, a miserly London commodities trader, does not share the merriment of Christmas. He declines his nephew Fred Hollywell's invitation for Christmas dinner and reluctantly accepts his loyal but underpaid employee Bob Cratchit's request to have Christmas Day off, since there will be no business for Scrooge to conduct during the day. As he leaves for the exchange, Scrooge encounters Bob's ill son, Tiny Tim, who is waiting across from Scrooge's office. After initially mistaking Tim for a beggar, Scrooge assures him that he will have a long wait for his father in the cold before leaving. At the exchange, Scrooge charges three other businessmen 5% extra for corn because they failed to meet his demands the day before, much to their dismay. Scrooge then refuses to give a donation to two gentlemen who are collecting money for charity, Mr. Poole and Mr. Hackins. Later that night in his house, Scrooge encounters the ghost of his deceased business partner, Jacob Marley, who warns him to repent his wicked ways, or else he will be condemned to the same afterlife as his, carrying heavy chains that were forged from his own greedy ways. Marley then informs Scrooge that three spirits will visit him that night. At 1 o'clock, the ghost of Christmas past visits Scrooge and takes him back in time to his unhappy childhood and early adult life. They visit Scrooge's time as a boarding school student, abandoned there by his father, who wanted nothing to do with him after Scrooge's mother died during childbirth. He sees his grim father, Silas, who gets him an apprenticeship with Fezziwig, and his older sister, Fan, who has since died. Eventually becoming successful in business, Scrooge becomes engaged to Belle. However, the ghost shows Scrooge that Belle left him when he chose his wealth over her. Finally, the spirit shows Scrooge a now married Belle with her large, happy family on the very same Christmas Eve that Jacob Marley died. Angered, Scrooge extinguishes the spirit with its cap and finds himself back in his bedroom. At 2 o'clock, Scrooge meets the ghost of Christmas Present, who shows him the joys and wonders of Christmas Day. Scrooge and the ghost visit Bob Cratchit's house, learning that his family is surprisingly content with their small dinner. Scrooge then takes pity on Tiny Tim, and the spirit comments that he will not survive until next Christmas. The ghost then mocks his change of heart by quoting Scrooge's previous callous comments about the poor. The spirit then takes Scrooge to Fred's house for the Christmas party that Scrooge had declined to attend, where Fred states that he only continues to pursue a relationship with Scrooge for the sake of his late mother, Fan, whom Scrooge loved deeply. Scrooge and the spirit then go to a desolate street, where Scrooge witnesses a homeless family with a husband who is desperate and eager for work, contradicting Scrooge's earlier comments that the poor are shiftless. The spirit then shows Scrooge two hideous children named Want and Ignorance, who are hidden under his robes, warning Scrooge to beware of them before he disappears. The ghost of Christmas yet to come then appears to Scrooge and takes him into the future, where Scrooge witnesses the businessmen discussing the death of an unnamed colleague, where they would only attend the funeral if lunch is provided. Scrooge recognizes several of his stolen possessions being traded to a fence or a moving man named Old Joe. The spirit then transports Scrooge to Bob's residence, where he learns that Tiny Tim has died, and the Cratchits mourn him. A moved Scrooge is then escorted to a cemetery, where the spirit points out a man's neglected grave, revealing that Scrooge is the man who died. Tearfully, Scrooge vows to change his ways and begs to be spared, and finds himself back in his own bedroom. Scrooge awakens and finds that it's Christmas Day. He sends Cratchit a large, prize-winning turkey for dinner and then ventures out into the city in order to spread happiness among the citizens of London, where he finds the charity workers that he had countered before, and much to their elation, he agrees to make a large donation. Scrooge also accepts Fred's Christmas invitation after reconciling with him. The following day, he gives Cratchit a raise and becomes like a second father to Tiny Tim, who escapes death. Now a changed man, Scrooge now treats everyone with kindness, generosity, and compassion, as he now embodies the spirit of Christmas as our movie comes to its end. This is only the second one that I've discussed here this week that I had never seen before. I'd seen Reginald Owen, I'd seen Alistair Sim. I'd never seen Sir Seymour Hicks, I'd never seen George C. Scott. And there's one more that we're going to get to that I'd never seen before, but that'll come a little bit later this week. Out of the two that I had never seen before, I honestly think I prefer George C. Scott's here. It was an interesting take. I enjoyed the fact that we got a little bit more of Scrooge's father in this one. Key element that I feel that's been seriously missing from the stories. Here we actually get to see Scrooge's father. And I want to say this is the only rendition that I've seen to date where we see Scrooge's dad. And it was an eye-opener, to be sure. Because you've got Fan coming to fetch him from school talking about how dad's changed. And then almost immediately, as soon as he sees his father, it's almost like he was lied to the entire time. Not that Fan set him up, because she wouldn't do that. But his own father still resented him, much to his chagrin and Fan's dismay. It's a good telling. I don't hold it in the same regard that I do Reginald Owen or Alistair Sim, but I do feel that it's better than Sir Seymour Hicks. That being said, when it comes to my rating for George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, I give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I don't put it on the same level as I do Reginald Owen and Alistair Sim, but it's definitely better than Sir Seymour Hicks. Those of you that have seen George C. Scott in A Christmas Carol, what do you guys think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. But let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys stay tuned in right here at the top of the half hour. right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And it's time to go back to the Disney Plus original series, The Santa Clauses, as we discuss Chapter 4, The Shoes Off the Bed Clause, starring Tim Allen, Elizabeth Mitchell, Austin Kane, Cal Penn, Elizabeth Allen Dick, Matilda Lawler, Devin Bright, Rupali Red, Isabella Bennett, and Laura San Giacomo. And then tomorrow, back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be another double feature of Renegades Reviews episodes as we take a look at two more lighthearted renditions of the A Christmas Carol story. First up, it's Mickey's Christmas Carol, starring the voices of Alan Yun, Wayne Allwine, Hal Smith, Eddie Carroll, Will Ryan, and Clarence Nash. And then following that, at the top of the half hour, it'll be time to take a look at The Muppet Christmas Carol, starring Michael Caine, Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmire, Frank Oz, Jerry Nelson, Stephen McIntosh, and Robin Weaver. You're not going to want to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel on Renegades Reviews. More episodes devoted to A Christmas Carol. Still so much more coming up this month. We've got a bunch of Christmas chestnuts next week. You want to make sure and stay tuned into the channel. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Open Mic Night, Statboy Sports Bar, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles, fans of Charles Dickens, fans of the A Christmas Carol story, fans of the Ebenezer Scrooge character, fans of Joanne Whalley, fans of Michael Gow, fans of George C. Scott, anybody you can think of that would enjoy the content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost visibility up in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized and make some money on these productions. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.